All right, this guy has been in Oklahoma City for all the action. Joey Helmer, OUInsider.com, has joined us a couple times in the past. He's been at every game. He's been at every press conference. Joey, just kind of let's start here. Your overall thoughts on yesterday's 7-2 win over Texas. Start off with the bang with that massive bomb by Jocelyn Allo.
Yeah, for Oklahoma, this could not have been a better tournament so far. They've taken care of business against Northwestern. Texas, you get the leadoff double yesterday, and then Allo, like you said, goes yard, and you're up 2-0 in the blink of an eye. And so you really couldn't have scripted a better start. And from there, you led the whole way, and then we saw the explosion there for 4 runs that really separated the game. And that's just consistent with this team. It always happens. They always break games open, and they did again in yesterday's game against Texas.
It's funny. I was watching the TV broadcast, and I think it was in the top of the 3rd inning. Holly Rowe is interviewing Patty Gasso, and she's saying, Haley Dolcini is deceptive, but we wasted 6 opportunities in 6 straight outs. We're better than that, so we're going to have to step up and make a change. And I think maybe that next inning, T.R.A. Jennings hits a home run. I can't remember exactly. But that was Patty's tone in the middle of the game. Was Patty's tone any different after the game?
I think it was pretty consistent with that. That's one thing with this lineup. It's like they can have 2 or 3 at-bats, and a player pops one up or, strikes out on a pitch that they don't normally swing at. And 2 or 3 at-bats, they'll look at those, and the next time they're guaranteed to make those corrections. And then you see 4 or 5 hitters in a row to where – they're stringing hits together, and, Riley Boone is laying down a bunt. And like I said, Jada Coleman's hitting the gap, and Allo and Jennings are doing what they're doing. So I've never seen a team that can adjust to the limited amount of mistakes that they make as well as Oklahoma can in their lineup. I mean, it's really unbelievable how good they are at their adjustments in game situations.
It's crazy, man. Texas came into that game so hot. Haley Dolcini, of course, beat OU earlier in the year. She's a great pitcher. And the tone from Patty is like, well, we left some situations out there. We could have scored more than 7 runs. Now, we know who the opponents are going to be moving forward. Winner of UCLA and Florida on Monday. Probably looking like Oklahoma State in the championship series, but I guess anything can happen at this time of the year. What are the odds that Haley Dolcini, from here on out, is going to be the best pitcher that OU sees?
Yeah, I mean, she's really, really good. Kelly Maxwell, though, right now for Oklahoma State is really seeming to be on another level. I mean, she has been just outstanding. And I was talking to someone in the press box yesterday and saying, Oklahoma, I feel, is going to win this tournament. Now, I don't have a whole lot of doubt about that. Now, I could be wrong, but if that is the case and Oklahoma State is to win it, Kelly Maxwell, for those of us, Tyler, you and I have covered this whole tournament, so it's really not a surprise to us, but she's kind of quietly been the most outstanding player of this entire tournament with how good she's been. I mean, she's pretty much shut down a Clemson offense that's really good, and now what she's done in the World Series. So, Dolcini's really good. I think if you were to ask me who could, go toe-to-toe and maybe beat Maxwell a couple of times and get into the championship, that would certainly be the option. But I think Maxwell right now is on a level to pitch in the national championship.
Yeah. Hearing Patty's, talk about Hope Troutwine yesterday and just the overall feel of Hope and what she's been able to do since Jordy's injury, I don't know, man. I guess I get this feeling that it's very similar to the G. Juarez situation last year where she's got the hot hand, and they might ride her to a national championship. I think who throws Monday, tomorrow at 11 a.m. is going to be fascinating. Do you think that they just go back to Hope Troutwine, or do you think it could be May Day and we see Nicole May in the circle?
Well, we first got to give you some props because you are adamant that it was going to be Hope Troutwine. And I got to admit, I was not confident that was the route Patty Gasso would go. Just given on what we've seen this season, she typically likes to go with that rotation. And like you said, she's got the hot hand Troutwine does right now. I would expect maybe that they'll go to another pitcher. You got two games here. Nicole May's been really good in the postseason too.
Yeah.
So I look, and you could not feel, regardless how you slice it up, you could not feel better about how Oklahoma is pitching wise going into this semifinal game, because all of them are fresh. I mean, even Troutwine's going to have a day off here. So you have 3 fresh horses in the stable. I just think Oklahoma is on such a driver's seat position right now, without question.
Yeah. I mean, Hope was good yesterday. I got to get on top of more hitters probably, but I'm not going to complain. I mean, allowed 2 runs in, both of the games that she's pitched in. With this offense right now, man, that's good enough. Hope Troutwine's been really good. What do we think about Jordy Ball? My whole point of that is they didn't really need anyone else yesterday outside of Hope. But what do we think about Jordy Ball now? Do we think that she's going to contribute at all? Like, what's the feel there?
Well, and that's kind of the big question, the big cloud right now. What if that? And I'm not suggesting that this is going to be the case, but what if that 1 inning she pitched the other day was just a total decoy?
Yeah.
And to make opponents have to scout for her and say, well, she has pitched in this tournament, she could go a whole game and dominate. That said, I mean, I don't think, Tyler, I'm interested about your thoughts on this, but I did not feel like the couple of hits she gave up the other day signaled anything in terms of the injury being an issue. I thought there were just a couple of hits, maybe the stage, her getting in that for the first time, but I thought she looked healthy for the most part and able to go. So we'll see how that situation moves going forward. But if they're able to get to the championship series really largely without having used her this entire postseason, man, and they're able to throw her out there, I mean, she's been unstoppable to begin with. So
yeah,
pretty crazy.
I agree with you on Jordy. It's not like the 2 hits that she gave up were, 2 hoppers off the wall or anything like that, especially the second hit. I mean, it was a cheap hit. And one thing that was pointed out to me, and it's a great point, is, Joey, she's raised our expectations almost to an unrealistic level. She is a true freshman that has never pitched in the Women's College World Series, and she was facing the meat of the Northwestern order. And she's come in relief at times, but let's be honest. I mean, she's not used to coming in for the final batter. I mean, everything was just so new. So if you take everything into consideration, do I think that she looked like her old self? No, but that was to be expected. I do think if she's out there, I think that she can, perform at a high level if need be. But yeah, it'll be fascinating to see how they go about it from here on out. I know that this is a little bit premature, but in your opinion, if this team does go on and win in the national championship, you think they will? I think they will too. What kind of feather in the cap is that for this team that they may go all the way, win the national championship without really the services of their national freshman of the year in the circle?
So I think there's 2 feathers in the cap right now when you talk about, you're alluding to the best team of all time. And I was looking the other day. Obviously, 1994 Arizona was dang near unstoppable. They lost 3 times the entire season. 2008 Arizona State was really, really good. So those are a couple of the teams you're looking at in that conversation. And so the feather in your cap is big. That Jordy Ball, when you look respective to those 2 teams, they've largely went through this entire postseason without the player that's been their best player in the circle and been dominant in the circle. And the other thing to me is Oklahoma, by beating Texas, has beaten one of the 2 teams that it lost to. The other team that it lost to is Oklahoma State. And it really looks like right now that they're going to get a chance to avenge that loss as well. And so both teams that they've lost to, they will have beaten both of those afterwards if they win this national championship, it looks like.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. I think it's going to be bedlam in the championship series, and I kind of felt that way before the tournament started, and I was all big and bold saying, OU's just going to destroy him twice, and maybe that still happens, and I still think OU will win the championship series if that takes place, but They've been no joke all year long. Oklahoma State, though, right now, you talked about Kelly Maxwell, but through their order, they look really good right now. They're playing at an extremely high level. It's not going to be a cakewalk if you face Oklahoma State in the championship series, in my opinion.
No, it could easily be a 3-game series, and I'm not going to sit here and guarantee that Oklahoma's going to win that series. I don't think we would be doing fair justice and our due diligence to not be giving Oklahoma State the credit that they deserve right now. That's a really good softball team. And like you said, I mean, that lineup is stout. It hasn't been the most consistent at times this year, but dang, they are hitting the ball right now. And there's been a lot of times this year where it's like, why has this lineup not been more like what we've seen in recent days? So, I was skeptical of this matchup actually happening coming into the tournament. I told some people yesterday that I thought it was just too good to be true. It was too good of a story to actually have bedlam for a national championship. And barring something unforeseen, it would be surprising. It could happen. It could. But it would be really surprising if either of these two teams right now were to lose twice in the semifinals.
So Joey and I are talking right around 2 hours before Florida and UCLA take place. Winner's going to play Oklahoma on Monday, have to beat OU twice. OU clearly beat UCLA early in the season, but that seems like a lifetime ago at this point. OU clearly has history with the Florida Gators. Today's a 5-year anniversary, by the way, of that 2017 game where Shea Knighton hit the 3-run home run to win in 17 innings. Is there a matchup, do you think, that OU would prefer here between Florida and UCLA, or these two teams pretty comparable for the most part?
So I predicted that Oklahoma and Florida were going to be in the national championship. I thought that the way Florida was hitting the ball, and they really showed no signs of stopping until yesterday. And that's what's so impressive about what Maxwell's been able to do, because she really halted an offense that Florida had scored 26 runs in their previous 3 games against Virginia Tech twice and Oregon State the other night. So, they were on fire and she shut them down. All of that said, in the circle, I feel like with Farimo, UCLA is a little bit more stout there. And when you get late in the tournament, I feel like that plays more. The pitcher that can, especially when you're looking at Oklahoma's lineup, man, who can hold them to 3 or 4 runs and give your offense a chance to win a game? And so from that standpoint, I think UCLA may be the more difficult challenge out of the two, but Florida can really, really hit the ball. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah, just a couple more. Tiare Jennings has been clutch. I mean, really clutch at the plate so far in the Women's College World Series. You know what you're going to get from Malo. Jana Johns is having a great offensive year. She hits a grand slam. But it's like, I don't want to say it's a surprise, because you've got to be a really good hitter to be in this lineup, and she's been great this year. But Riley Boone, what she's been able to do the first 2 games, has she kind of been, I don't know even about the unsung hero. It just kind of feels like if she's going to continue on at this pace with the speed that she has on the base paths, I mean, this offense with that speed in the back end, that's going to be really tough. I think her emergence in this tournament feels like it's been really big for this offense.
You and I have watched it at every moment of this tournament. People on the national stage may be realizing it now, how crucial Riley Boone is to this team. And I don't think she gets the credit that she deserves. She's a rally starter. I mean, she did last year against James Madison in the semifinal round. And, they end up going on to win that game and then win the national championship. She's outstanding in the field as well. Oklahoma has the best defensive outfield in the country. I think they're the best defensive team in the country, but they're the best outfield in the country, and she's definitely a reason why. She has an arm. She can throw to second, throw runners out, and she can defend anything in the gap. So, yes, I think people really need to appreciate what Riley Boone's doing for this team, and it's been absolutely critical.
Yeah. Last one. I haven't seen a lot of people being upset about it yet, but give it a few hours. It's going to take place when people realize that OU is going to play a game in the Women's College World Series tomorrow at 11 a.m. I don't love it. I'm sure you don't love it. I still think it's probably going to be a sold-out crowd, 11 a.m. on a Monday. That says everything about this sport right now, but that's unfortunate, 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, that stinks. I'll be honest. I thought you were going to go a different way with that question. I thought you were going to go with the everyone complaining about the home field advantage
Oh, yeah.
because it's going to be Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. But yeah, playing at 11 a.m. That stinks, and it's an interesting schedule because Oklahoma, if they're to lose that game, they play right afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's a true doubleheader scenario, and then the other side of the bracket for Oklahoma State and whoever emerges from Arizona and Texas would play in the evening session. So it's kind of an interesting setup. This bracket, though, this year is so much better than we've seen in the past. So, yeah, like I said, it'll be a sold-out crowd. It'll be packed, and it'll be a great atmosphere.
There you go. Joey Helmer of OUInsider.com. Joey's got all the softball coverage you need. Give him a follow on Twitter. At Joey Helmer 247 still. Is that correct?
That's it.
Look at me. Unbelievable. And he doesn't ask dumb questions in the postgame press conference like a certain New York Times reporter.
Yeah.
So you get that from Joey. All right, man. Hey, enjoy the games today. Enjoy them tomorrow. We all got a big week coming up with this championship series coming up late next week. It's going to be fun, man. Enjoy it.
Thanks, man.